welcome to episode 3 of my podcast, Knit the Sundown podcast. Today I'll be talking about several exciting things that happened this week. I guess I'll get started with what's behind me, which you can hopefully see despite the quality of this camera. This is my knitting machine. It is a Singer LK 155, I believe. I forget whether it's a 150 or a 155. It's completely mechanical and automatic. It doesn't have any function to program it into a computer. It operates instead on these punch cards, which are crazy because I'm too young to have ever used these for computers. So I've never really worked with them before. They're not computers really, but they look like it. This basically tells when to drop or slip a stitch and when to knit it. I've been practicing with them. I haven't really mastered them yet. I made a little sample. But it kind of just turned out like mesh. It's not supposed to look like this, I know. So I'm still figuring that out. But I really like it for stocking stitch, and I made these gloves, which I'm very happy with. So that's exciting. I made these yesterday, and I finished hemming them today. So they're really cozy, they're alpaca. I knit them up with drops alpaca, which works really, really well on this, which is exciting because it's one of the best and lowest quality yarns there is out there. I love drops alpaca for pretty much anything. I'm knitting a cardigan with it at the moment, which is taking an age, and I started it before I got the machine. So now I'm thinking I may just start over again and knit something on the machine, although I still preferring hand knitting for manipulation of stitches, for increases, decreases, and shaping. I'm sure that'll come with the machine, but I'm not there yet. But hopefully I will be, because I'm taking classes on it, and that's something that happened this week. I had my first class on Tuesday at the Centre for Contemporary Textiles in Montreal. It's a really great place. If you ever have a chance to take a class there, do. They have several that are just on weekends. So if you're in town for a weekend, or even sometimes just one day, check it out. They're very reasonably priced, and they're in this centre that is actually a research and teaching institute. They run a college, a 3-year college program. So it's got the facilities and the instructors for a full-blown official diploma, but also they do general public workshops, which can benefit from these resources without doing a 3-year full-time college diploma. So that's exciting. I had a really great time, came home, and it felt like everything just clicked for the machine for me, because I'd had a little trouble with inconsistency with casting on and tension and thinking like, is it me, is it the machine? It was totally me. And the machine works really well, and I've been doing some fun stuff on it, so I hope for that to continue. It's completely different from hand knitting. The idea of time, of focus, it needs more focus in other ways, less in other ways. It's less meditative, I find. You need a little bit more concentration, but it's so fast. I'll show you something else, but just in case my mum sees this, I don't want her to see something before the right time. So that's that. I might insert some clips here of the machine running, but I don't want to move my camera setup while I'm talking. You can see it behind me. Here is a cocktail I just received. And here's the machine. Cocktail down. Now I'm going to drink and operate heavy machinery. The carriage just comes back and forth. And it has a row counter, which I love. It's an automatic row counter. It like flicks and it counts the rows. That's very satisfying. This just moves back and forth, and you knit, and that's it. And the needles are all here. This is really an unsatisfactory view. You can hardly see anything, but I will put in some closer footage if I can get some. This little alien guy is the stringer, the threader, whatever you call it. I can send you the word in French. The class is in French, so I know all the words for machine in French, but I don't know them in English. Anyway, that's the machine. Hopefully I'll show it in action soon, as well as more things that I'm doing with it, because it's a whole new world of possibilities. But what else can I show you? This is my one finished object for the week. It's the sock I was mentioning in my podcast that I put up on Saturday, that I'd filmed a little while before. So in the process between filming that and putting it up, I finished the sock in the Bliss Donegal Tweed. I will hold it up there because you can't see it against my top. As I was talking about, the crystal sock pattern by Lynn H is her Ravelry name. It's in Knitty. I think it was in volume 12 of Knitty online. It's a fantastic sock pattern. It's a completely different structure. It starts out with effectively a stockinette tab, like a garter tab, that you knit around 360 degrees of instead of 180 degrees of, and it's just in stockinette or garter. Aside from that, those key differences, it's effectively the same. That's how you start the toe, and it sort of spirals out from there with increases every 7 stitches rather than increases every side. And then similarly with the heel, you have a spiral system of decreases spaced out regularly rather than just on the sides, creating a sort of trapezoid. And then in the middle I use Hermione's Everyday Sock stitch pattern, which just worked really well with the tweediness. This is just woolen. This is woolen cashmere. It doesn't have any nylon in it. I think these may just be house socks. They may be too luxurious to put in my boots, but I really love it. It fits very, very well. I'm casting on the other one as soon as I finished my other sock, because I keep myself to one set of needles, so that I'm not always starting a million socks that I don't have finished. So with this, I'm finishing another sock. Again, it's present. I don't want to show it, but it's in Juliet's Lamp Piccolo, which I love. And the pattern I'm doing on that is a smocked Guernsey sock from a Craftsy knit-along class. I really like the look of the pattern, but it's way too much work. It involves a stitch pattern, which is just too long and involved for me for 2 socks. So I did just the cuff in the stitch pattern and continued the body of the foot in stockinette. So I'll show that once its intended recipient has seen it, which is probably after Christmas at this point. No other finished objects this week aside from the mittens that I showed you, because I have been playing around a lot with my machine, but I picked up some new things. Here we have my new purchases of the week. I snagged one of the last 3 skeins of Hedgehog Fiber's sock at Espastico in colour Oracle, which I adore. I've never knit with quite such dark yarn before. I don't knit with black all that much. And then it's got these flecks of fluorescent pink and fluorescent green running through it. At the end there's some neon green and yellow that I just love. I love the contrast of them together. I've never actually seen it knit up, so I'm really excited for how that goes. These will be socks for me. Still haven't decided a pattern. Maybe Vanilla is the New Black, or maybe Stranded, the Show Off Stranded knit-along sock pattern. I really like both of those. I like something with a repetitive pattern, with something of interest, but nothing too involved. Just mindless sock knitting is my vibe. I picked up a few things to test on my machine that I haven't knit with even by hand yet. So here, I don't usually skein things or wind things until right before I'm about to use them, but this is lace weight and I don't have a Swift at home, and you could not pay me to wind 800 yards of lace at home without a Swift. So this is dropped lace, alpaca as well. It's similar to the alpaca, but with a little less of a halo because it's wound tight, it's plied tighter. 70% alpaca, 30% silk, which gives it more sheen to it than the dropped alpaca. Fingering weight, I've knit with this before, I love it. I held it double and I knit a shrug with it. It was really, it was the first lace project I'd done. It wasn't even really a lace project because I had them held double. It was a lot of fuss, more than it was worth for that particular project, but I think this is going to be perfect on the machine. Another one I skeined was this Shibui Silk Cloud I better use it soon because I don't like keeping silk in skeins. It puts stress on the fibre, I feel like. I don't know if that's scientific or just what we tell ourselves. So this is Shibui Silk Cloud in Ash. It's gorgeous. I've never knit with this before, but we have several samples of it in the shop, and we received a huge shipment of it on Saturday, and it was just amazing. We all just wanted to jump into it. It's the colours are so vibrant, and when it's skeined up, it's got all this fluff on top and these really clearly defined strands as it's wound. So that's just a really interesting effect. I can't wait to see how it knits up on the machine. Something else I want to try on the machine is Shibui Pebble. This is the colour Canal. It's got this nice tweedy look to it. Pebble colours are just gorgeous. I've never even knit with Shibui that at all. It's never really sort of come under my radar, but I'm really excited about these. And then I got picked up this skein of Koigu, another sort of tightly plied 100% merino, completely different effect to these other three. And I'll have to do some sampling to see how fingering weight and lace weight go together on the machine, tension gauge wise. But I just think those, I'll hold them up so it's not against my sweater, those colours together will just be such an interesting, effectively I'll just do probably a sampler type stockinette scarf that'll end up really, really long, I hope, because that'll give me a lot of yards. So those are the things I'm really excited about this week. I have some sock yarn on the go too. I'm just really into knitting socks lately. I'm almost finished a hat also. This is the second version I've done of the pattern Hinagiku hat. I'll link to it in the comments in the show description below. I really love it. It's actually, I really love it. I should make more of them. It's a free pattern, and what you get for free is absolutely incredible. I forget the name of the designer. Again, I'll put it below. But she's just clearly so generous with her time and skills, in my opinion, to release this pattern for free. Because it's a stitch I've never seen before, and it's a technique I've never seen before. And it's got this gorgeous sort of blossom or leaf sprig type stitch pattern, and this is created by moving the beginning of the round marker one stitch every round to get this slant. I actually haven't swatched it without moving the beginning of the round marker, but it might not be as interesting. Anyway, I probably almost come to the decreases. Oh, I did do a modification. I cast on, I think, 80 stitches rather than the 120 it suggests. I just know that DK 120 stitches on 4mm needles is going to fall over my head down to my shoulders. I just know that about my own knitting from experience of hats. So this is with Julia Slant DK in colour Echo, which I adore. It's very similar in the base to, if you've knit with them before, the Tanis is a yellow label DK, and Tosh and the Tosh DK. All similar tight applied merino bases, but the range of colours is just lovely. So I think I'm close to starting the decreases. I like that it fits more tightly. I think it'll be warmer. It's supposed to be a slouchier hat, but I like this, and I'm sure it'll stretch out a little when I block it. Plus I don't have much hair, so slouchier hats cover all my hair, and I prefer tighter fitting hats. Anyways, that's that. I might finish it tonight even. Although I'm almost casting off a sock and grafting it, so I might focus on that. And after I finish the sock, I'll do something for me again. Okay, well that's about everything I have to talk about today. I might slip in some clips after I finish talking. Oh, hat hair. So, as promised, here's some more videos of me on the knitting machine. So I'm going to thread up my machine. I was playing with it yesterday with my colleague and friend Chloe. It got jammed and I couldn't figure out what it was at the time. And then about a couple hours later I realised, what if it's the same thing that happened last time it got jammed? Something can happen with the tension dial. I'll tilt my camera so you can see. This is the tension dial. This sets the tension. The needles never change their position. They're set. Sometimes the tension dial sticks, and that's what had happened. So the tension was stuck really, really tight, even though it looked like it was on the loosest. So that's what happened yesterday. But I got it. I basically unscrewed it and poked around. I don't really know what I did, but I think I did it right. That's my approach with mechanical instruments. This is called a tappet tool. This is basically one of the knitting machine needles, which looks like this. Looks like a crochet hook, but it has a hinge at the end, and the hinge moves back and forward to pull the yarn through the needle. So it can enter the stitch and hook it when it's open, and as it pulls back, the stitch closes the tappet so that the working yarn gets pulled through the stitch. So this is basically that with a handle, and this is what we use to cast on and cast off. There are other ways to cast on, quicker ways, but I like this method that I was shown in the workshop because it looks like a crochet. You're basically crocheting around the needles, and it just looks really, it's sturdy and it looks pretty. So my left hand holds the tension in the yarn as I cast it on because I want it to be loose, so the stitches move easily. That's why. So I'm going to move it across, that it works from yesterday, fingers crossed. Okay. There we go. That worked okay. Now I put the weights in. These are the weights. They're just heavy bits of plastic with combs on them that you fix into the stitches. And this means that there's some tension in it for so that it weighs itself down and doesn't roll up into the carriage. So that's 10 rows, and now I'm thinking I'm going to do an eyelet row. So for that, I take this tool, transfer tool. It has a needle with a hole in it, like a regular eye. And this can be used to transfer stitches along the needle bed. So again, I'm going to move the camera. So moving the needle with the transfer tool, you can move a stitch off a needle and onto the next one. And this effectively makes a yarn over. Because yarn overs also help stockinette stay flatter, which is problem when you can't do garter, or apparently you can. I think it's very manual. I don't have the attachment, the expansion pack, if you will, to do garter on this. I'm going to bring it across one time. I will show the finished effect after. I'm now going to move the needles back to active. So here is a sample of the not nearly quite finished, but getting there product with the eyelet rows every 40 rows. And I'm about to do another one so you can see from this angle. Moving the needles back to active position. And this ball of yarn is about to run out, so I think I may just do a couple more rows with it. And there that is, a glimpse into my machine. I'm looking forward to doing more advanced things on it. I did manage to get some colour work done the other day, and that was really exciting. So I may do something like that and attach it onto the end of the scarf, or I may just put tassels on it. And I hope to have more to show you in the future.